Right now, from KTAB News, your local election headquarters, this is Big Country Politics.
Thank you so much for being here for Big Country Politics. I'm Travis Ruiz, and KTAB News is your local election headquarters. Federal law enforcement officials now say Iran and Russia are trying to influence the election. Now they're asking all Americans to be on alert. KTAB's Joe Khalil explains and has what precautions are being taken for the 2020 political season.
Some of America's top intelligence officials had a stark warning for all American voters Wednesday night.
We have identified that two foreign actors, Iran and Russia, have taken specific actions to influence public opinion relating to our elections.
Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe says both Iran and Russia have obtained some registered voters' personal information and are trying to sow confusion and misinformation directly, undermining the confidence in the integrity of the election.
These actions are desperate attempts by desperate adversaries.
Ratcliffe says Iran's efforts include sending fake, threatening emails to hurt President Trump, along with videos promoting the idea that fraudulent ballots are being cast from overseas. Ratcliffe said firmly, this is not happening.
You should be confident that your vote counts.
Head of the FBI, Christopher Wray, says his agency is working with the intelligence community and with tech and social media companies to combat foreign interference on all platforms.
We've been working for years as a community to build resilience in our election infrastructure, and today that infrastructure remains resilient.
Both officials urged the public to stay vigilant and to trust the integrity of American elections.
And as you know, Election Day is November 3rd. Continuing now with your local election headquarters, our spotlight now on Callahan County, where there are two props on the ballot. The first, Proposition A, restoration of the county courthouse in Baird. And Proposition B is the renovation of the old hospital, also known as the Annex. Callahan County Judge Scott Niffen told us that these bonds would allow the county to restore and renovate buildings that are nearly 100 years old. And while it may seem like an expensive task, Niffen says, in his view, it actually won't cost the taxpayers too much.
Our financial advisor has advised us that if both these bonds passed, the tax rate will increase by 7.3 cents per $100 valuation.
And those bond proposals are on the Callahan County ballots right now, but if they do pass, the projects could take up to 2 years to be finalized. Moving now to our eye on Abilene, it's a chief change at the Abilene Police Department. A new chief named, and our current one gets a new job. Take a look on your screen right now. On the left is incoming Chief Marcus Dudley Jr. He's joining the Abilene Police Department from the Aurora, Colorado Police Department, where he is currently a commander. He's a 24-year veteran of the department. And on the right is current Chief Stan Stanridge. He announced his resignation earlier this year and is now moving to be the next chief of the San Marcos Police Department. Chief Stanridge will start his new job in the next month, and Chief Dudley will be here in Abilene before the start of next year. And keeping our eye on Abilene, right now for the first time in more than a decade, a new airline taking flight from Abilene Regional Airport. SkyWest United made its inaugural flight from Abilene to Houston. KTAB's Dan Booth was at the ribbon cutting ceremony and tells us why United Airlines coming to Abilene is different than previous efforts.
The last time Abilene Regional Airport had a second airline was back in 2008. On Wednesday, SkyWest United made its inaugural flight from Abilene to Houston.
If we want to maintain this United connection, we need to use the United connection. And so one thing we want to be able to do is encourage our citizens to fly ABI and fly United.
It hasn't been easy for the city of Abilene to hold onto other airlines. Director of Transportation Services Don Green says this time is different because of the Small Community Air Services Development Grant ABI received back in February.
That gives us the funds that we needed to provide a revenue guarantee. Now that guarantee will help ensure that over the first few months that SkyWest doesn't lose any money on a flight.
Now that ABI has direct flights to Houston, business people and families can stay connected without having to make complicated travel plans.
It's about a 6-hour drive back to Houston if I want to go visit my family, or it's about an hour-long flight straight from Abilene. If I fly out of San Angelo, where I currently attend college, I have to fly American and have a layover in Dallas.
Green says now that people in the big country have the opportunity to fly United, they can take advantage of everything the new airline in town has to offer.
It's not just to Houston. I want to stress this is into the Houston hub at Bush Intercontinental. So it's beyond Houston.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Dan Booth.
All right, and with the new addition of that airline, Abilene Regional will now have daily flights to Houston and to Dallas-Fort Worth via American. All right, next to news about our economy here in the Key City. The cancellation of the Fort Worth Stock Show could mean a big opportunity and some big challenges for the Taylor County Expo Center. The Battle of the Cattle organization is moving the Fort Worth show to Abilene. That means 1,500 students and their families and friends will be coming to Abilene next February. It will be a big event for the Expo Center and for the Abilene tourism industry. The Expo is in debt, and the Abilene tourism industry leaders report that they have lost millions of dollars because of canceled events after COVID-19. Organizers say the hard work of all the young people who have been working to take care of the animals and get them ready for the show should not be wasted.
This was a huge blow to this industry not to have this show. That's why we picked up the slack and we decided that, hey, we've got to continue this on.
And those families that they buy cattle a year out and then raise them and get them ready. It takes a lot of work with early mornings, late evenings all year. The organizers and the Expo Center worked on another event this summer and have decided the event here is next February. Now to our eye on COVID-19, as hospitalizations are slowly increasing across the Lone Star State, the people heading up the COVID-19 response in Texas are taking inventory of the state's medical resources. That includes checking stockpiles and keeping tabs on frontline workers. KTAB's Maggie Glenn reports on the strain healthcare workers are facing in areas already seeing a spike.
Nobody likes wearing a mask. I totally get that.
While the general public may be getting tired of social distancing and wearing masks, healthcare workers like Dr. Todd Bell in Amarillo are facing a different kind of COVID fatigue.
I was complaining about working 31 out of 32 days, and then I was talking to a colleague of mine in the ICU, and he was commenting on the fact that he was halfway through a 41-day stretch.
The state has recently surged resources to Amarillo, Lubbock, and El Paso, including medical personnel to alleviate the strain on staffing. With hospital patients steadily increasing in more regions, the state is relying on lessons learned from the first wave.
We learned to expect the unexpected. There are many things that we know now that we didn't know at the beginning of it.
State leaders say they're confident they'll be able to better respond now with more testing available and a stockpile of supplies.
We have over 2,000 locations across the state of Texas right now.
We've got lots of PPE, we've got lots of ventilators, and as Dr. Zerwas pointed out, this past summer we saw an amazing ability of our hospitals to band together, to help each other out.
These doctors say it requires a team effort.
The community's tired of this, the healthcare system's tired of this, but COVID is a community-wide issue, and it requires a community-wide solution.
All right, still to come here on Big Country Politics, a lot happening with political races locally, statewide, and nationally. An in-depth conversation with Dr. Paul Fabrizio at McMurray University. We are back in 2 minutes.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
All right, Election Day is upon us, and it's a big election day. And to break it all down, that's why we have Dr. Paul Fabrizio, political science professor at McMurray University. As always, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be here.
All right, so the countdown is on.
Yes.
Is this the... I don't know what word to use. Describe this election for us, if you will.
Exciting, tense,
okay,
nerve-wracking, crazy. Any of those adjectives I think are really descriptive right now. I think most Americans will be glad when this is over.
Right. And I've heard the word consequential. The most consequential election of our lifetime, right?
That's what people say. We say that about every election, right. So, you know, I'm not ready to say that. but it is consequential, certainly. The most, I don't know.
All right. So early voting was a big topic this last couple of weeks, and it's still happening. Those lines, I want to kind of bring up some video and some statistics on our screen that'll show us how many people voted. So you see here's some of that video. 400 Oak, of course, is Taylor County Plaza. So those lines, and we got some video also of the Taylor County, of the Mall of Abilene. So we've seen those lines, especially on those first couple of days. United Supermarkets, those places, those lines were literally out the door. And I think what we've seen with some of the statistics were that 2016 numbers did exceed 2020 numbers. Did that surprise you?
That really did at the beginning, but I think there's a host of reasons for that. One is that voting in 2016 was not extended. We have 5 more days of voting than we did in 2016. Also, we're voting so much earlier in the cycle than we were, because the election in 2016 was November 8th. This election this year is November 3rd, so it's earlier, so everything's taking place earlier. But I think all in all, we have to look at this and say, there's a lot of people who are participating in early voting. I mean, I went on the first day just to see what it was like, and there was an hour wait at the United Supermarkets, and it was like, oh, I'll go a different day. So I went a different day down at Oak Street, and there was a 15-minute wait, and that was it. So, but still, this is really good for democracy. People are participating.
And I think we're at a number of about 31% of our electorate has already voted. So that's a good number, right?
That is a fantastic number. And there's, some ways to look at that. Of course, people are concerned about which way it means the vote's going to turn out. And right now, we don't know. But one of the things I think about is 31% already voting. That means that what will take place on Election Day might not be as demanding for the election workers because so many people have participated early. And then, of course, there's also all the mail-in voting, too. So, there's 3 ways to participate in this election: Election Day, mail-in, or early voting, and we're getting a good number of people doing it. So that's just a positive thing.
So there's no excuse to not get out and vote or stay in and vote, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly, if you want to do that, yes.
Very good. And, of course, a lot of people are hesitant to even get the mail-in ballots, right? And there's a lot of talk about, the mail system and lack of integrity.
This is one of my frustrations about this election, is there's been a lot of misinformation about mail-in voting. Mail-in voting has always been safe, and there is very few incidents of fraud. And when you look at the number of people that we elect in this country, we elect over a 2-year cycle about 500,000 people. That's 500,000 elections that we hold. And the percentage of them that have fraud is like 0.00025. It is insignificant. So if anybody's concerned about the fraud, don't be. There's no reason to be. Trust the system, just follow the directions. To me, the thing that's being ignored is instead disqualification by using the mail-in system, where people don't follow the rules. Okay, make sure your signature is exact on your application and on your ballot.
Right.
That's a simple way you have to do it. If you don't do that, your ballot might not count.
So obviously the big ticket race is the presidential race,
yes,
right?
It sure is.
All right, so that second debate was nixed altogether after they were going to make it virtual. On 60 Minutes, I think President Trump is releasing the entire interview that's raw after he walked out of this interview. So these are things that we've never seen in a presidential campaign, right?
We've never seen them in modern presidential campaigns. And, we need to keep that in mind. There's a whole host of nasty presidential campaigns that took place in this country. For the first 100 years or so, we really struggled getting this democracy going. And especially in the years leading to the Civil War and afterwards, things were incredibly tense. So what we're experiencing now is unlike things we've seen in our lifetime, but in the course of American history, it's been worse.
And then, of course, now in the age of information.
Yes.
We see and have record of every little thing.
Yes, we do.
All right.
And we need to think about that, though. We have a record of every little thing, but at the same time, in the old days, what they had was a distorted image of everything, because there wasn't one newspaper, one news source. Each party, each candidate had their own, so you never knew what was the true thing. And it's really taken historians to go back and look and figure out, oh, this is what happened. So, you know, we struggle with what's going on today, but people 100 years ago were doing the same thing.
All right, very interesting. All right, we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Fabrizio in just a little bit. Of course, the presidential race isn't the only one, and we'll talk about what's happening on the ballot at a statewide level and, of course, local level. We're back in 2 minutes.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
All right, the countdown continues. Dr. Paul Fabrizio, McMurray University, still with us here, and we just talked a little bit about the big dog in the race, the big presidential election
race.
But let's talk about some of the other races. So I guess next on the ballot would be the race for Senate. So that's John Cornyn's seat. And we saw an interesting debate, didn't we?
We did. And one of the things that really stood out for me about that debate was that the questions that were asked could have been asked in Alabama or Alaska. There was very little about Texas. And what has happened here is that we have nationalized this whole election. And it's really about the issues that the president has decided it would be about. The election is taking place on his territory. So John Cornyn and M.J. Hager are debating not about issues that they care about, but about issues that the president has made us focus our attention on. And that's a really unusual thing. But that's how it's going.
Nationalized, that's interesting. Yeah, because obviously they were asked questions about the Supreme Court justice, you know, those sorts of things. So
immigration, which is obviously a Texas issue, but they were asked in the context of the larger immigration along the whole border, trade deals, all that sort of stuff. Certainly they affect Texas, but at the same time there's things that are being discussed at the Senate, and they could be discussed in Ohio or Nebraska too.
That is an interesting way to look at it. All right, so you know, we'll also talk about the state race, Don Buckingham against Clayton Tucker, State Senate District 24. So that's on the ballot as well. What do you think about this race?
A very quiet race. One of the things, and this is part of that nationalization thing, one of the things that's going on is that so much attention is focused on the top of the ticket that the candidates below can work really hard to make an effort to be heard, but it's hard to get in there with all the attention focused on the big races. So what we've got is Don Buckingham running for re-election, and her opponent is trying to get his name out so that people support him. This has been a Republican district. You would think that Don Buckingham would be favored in this thing. So we'll see how it plays out, but both of them really are struggling, I would argue, to get some oxygen, to be heard in this thing.
You know, I've noticed on Clayton Tucker's signs, election signs, it has his face on it. What do you think that says about a candidate, putting their face on it? Is he just trying to get people to know who he is?
I think he's trying to get to know who he is, and at least some of the literature that I've seen from him does not mention his political party at all. Which I think was interesting. I don't know about all his signs, but what I've received at home and mails doesn't say anything about him being a Democrat.
That's interesting.
Which is telling. This is a Republican district. So if you're a Democrat, you want to get known, so you do things like putting your face there, but you don't want people to know, hey, he's just a Democrat. He's, you know, might be with those people who identify with socialists or anything. So he downplays that to upplay other parts.
Interesting. All right, next our local state representative. So that is Stan Lambert, and he's running against Sam Hatton. So this is kind of a deja vu.
Yes, we've been here before a couple years ago, and this also is a very quiet race. And again, it's because it's all caught in with the presidency. It's just not getting much attention. And the candidates, I'm not faulting the candidates in any way. It's hard to get people to pay attention to you when everybody's focus is someplace else. And so, you know, Sam Hatton has to get more attention. And so how does he have to go about doing that? Stan Lambert wants people to remember that he's been on the job. How does he get people to do that? It's really, really difficult for them to race, for them to compete in this election.
And then throw COVID.
Yeah, oh, I totally forgot about that. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the other part, because it's harder to go campaigning door to door. There isn't the kind of events that there used to be a couple of years ago. So.
Yeah. Very true. And then, of course, here in Abilene, we do have two races on the ballot, and that's the mayoral race and the seat currently held by Donna Albus. So the mayoral race, you know, these are quiet too, would you say, right?
Yes, very, very quiet. Very, very quiet. I've been visited at my door once by, not by a candidate, but by someone campaigning for the presidency. But the local candidates, it's much harder for them to get out and mix. There's signs all over the place, obviously. But in terms of events to generate interest, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, so Mayor Anthony Williams, you see on your screen there against Cynthia Alvidrez, and so she's run for a couple of other positions before too. But like we said, this race quiet. Let's go to the next one we talked about was
the city council.
Yeah, city council, which is Donna Albus' spot. Yeah.
And we need to make a point that, you know, there's things that are taking place on social media, of course, but not everybody pays attention to social media. And it's hard to get time for TV commercials. You know, at the local races, you often can't afford to do that. So I feel for all these candidates. Here we are electing the mayor, electing city council, local races. Normally it's held in May. It's being held in November in a presidential election year.
So they will have more people deciding now.
That's true. There'll be a lot more people voting in this race than ever before.
Dr. Fabrizio will be joining us on election night on KTAB, so you can look forward to more analysis there, and of course on our website and on our Facebook Live that night. We're back in 2 minutes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Big Country Politics on KTAB continues.
All right, so Big Country farmers have found a big, bright yellow moneymaker. They are cultivating sunflowers. Lonnie Orman has been farming in Nolan County for more than 40 years. Heavy rains in the last summer hurt the cotton crop, and he's had to start farming in other parts of Texas and even in Kansas. He's also had to find other ways to make profit. He's cultivating these bright yellow sunflowers in his cotton fields. Orman says the sunflowers will help out financially. And I like that smiley face. That does it for this week's edition of Big Country Politics. For the latest, you know where to go, bigcountryhomepage.com. Thank you so much for watching.